My name is Aurelia Calder, and I'm 35 years old, the so-called quiet one, in a family that never shuts up. I was born into old Providence money, raised between gala dinners and passive-aggressive brunches where appearances mattered more than love. My mother calls herself a philanthropist. My father disappeared under the guise of early retirement. My cousins run tech companies, law firms, and real estate empires. Me, I was the screw-up who dropped out of Wharton, started a fintech firm from a dorm room, and made it work, just not in the way they approved of. For most of my life, I played the invisible daughter, the one who gave too much, asked for nothing, and was told I'd never amount to anything. But last Thursday night, at a family dinner that felt more like an ambush, I dropped a sentence that cracked our legacy wide open. I just bought a $2.8 million condo downtown in cash. Silver clinked. Glass trembled. Someone let out a sharp exhale, then stifled it with a cough. Across from me, my mother, Octavia Calder, tilted her head like a bird sizing up a dead thing. You, she said. One word. A whole war. I smiled. Small. Precise. Lethal. Downtown Providence, I added. Top floor. 2 bedrooms. Direct elevator access. Octavia laughed. The kind of laugh you hear in courtrooms and confession booths. Hollow. Knowing. Well, she said, looking around at the table. How does it feel to be useless and wildly delusional? My cousin Elias choked on his wine. My father didn't flinch. I guess it feels great, I said, sliding the folded deed across the table since I closed escrow last Friday. Her smile froze. The room tilted. That was the moment I felt the floor of our family's history start to crack. My aunt cleared her throat. The server approached with a fresh tray of lamb. Wait, my father said, voice low, cold, sharp as a blade unsheathed. Whose signature backed this? My stomach clenched. I hadn't shown him, but I hadn't forged anything either. He reached for the paper, scanned the document. Silence. Then, this is my signature, he said. Eyes turned. My breath caught. That's impossible, I said. You weren't involved. I applied solo through a private holding. You don't understand, he whispered. This isn't a standard signature. This is the legal access stamp from the Calder Legacy Trust. My pulse jumped. Behind Octavia's shoulder, Elias shifted. Too quickly. You used the trust, my father hissed. I didn't, I said. I didn't even know I had access. Octavia's glass slipped from her fingers. The crash echoed too loud. Too sharp. Who gave you the lender? She asked. I looked at her. She already knew. They reached out, I said. Said I qualified through a legacy vetting. The server stepped back. The tray of lamb started to shake. That condo, my father said, voice brittle now, was supposed to be frozen. Under investigation. Investigation. I said. For what? He didn't answer, but Elias did. A slow sip. Eyes cold. The Rylands were evicted from that property last month, he said. No reason given. No press coverage. It just happened. Suddenly the room felt too bright. The chandelier above buzzed. My phone vibrated under the napkin. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then it vibrated again. This time a message. You're not supposed to own that place. Someone else does. Someone who isn't finished yet. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Across the table, Octavia leaned forward. Her voice was a whisper against crystal and linen. You think this was a flex, Aura, she said. You just signed your own damn death warrant. The elevator ride up to the condo was dead silent. No music, just the low hum of ascent and the sound of my own breath sharpening. The doorman had greeted me by name. Welcome back, Miss Calder. I hadn't stepped foot in the building before tonight. The 22nd floor opened to a polished hallway, marble tile, soft recessed lights, the scent of eucalyptus and money. My heels clicked in rhythmic defiance as I approached Unit 2203. I slid the keycard into the reader. It blinked green. The door unlocked. A whisper of cold air met me. The kind that shouldn't be there if no one had been inside. I stepped in slow. The condo was spotless. Too spotless. Staged but lived in. Wine glasses drying in the rack. A blanket folded across the couch. A faint scent of jasmine in the air. Not my perfume. Not anything I've ever owned. On the kitchen counter, a note. Written in thick, looping script. Congratulations on your new life. Use it wisely. I didn't write it. Neither did any escrow agent I've ever met. I moved through the condo with purpose. The second bedroom had boxes. Some sealed. Some open. One contained old family photos. Me at 10. Me at graduation. Me with Darian before he vanished. But I'd never sent these here. None of this made sense. I walked into the master bedroom. Stopped cold. The mirror. A single red lipstick mark. In the shape of lips. Right in the center of the glass. I don't wear red. I haven't since the funeral. I opened the closet door. It creaked. Inside, on the top shelf, was a small black lockbox. Unmarked. Heavy. I yanked it down. 3 tries before the latch clicked open. Inside, a burner phone. A USB stick. A ledger. The burner rang. The screen said blocked. I picked up. A man's voice. Distorted. You opened it early. That wasn't the plan. Who is this? Pause. The only one who doesn't want you dead. Yet. Click. The call ended. I stood still. Every hair on my arms lifted. You don't really know what paranoia feels like until the walls you paid for aren't yours. Until the keys you're holding unlock someone else's trap. People think danger screams. It doesn't. It whispers. It waits. I slid the USB into my laptop. The screen flickered. A single folder. Calder/Yar transactions. Dozens of files. Offshore wiring instructions. Transfers in my name. Dated back 12 years. I was 19. I didn't know what BVI holding meant then. My phone vibrated again. Another text. Don't go back to the restaurant. Cameras were wiped. Your mother's not playing defense anymore. I stared out the window. Below, the streetlight flickered once. Then again. Someone was watching. I felt it. I shut the laptop. The power cut out. Total blackness. My lungs froze. Then, movement on the balcony. A silhouette. Not moving. Just standing. I stepped back into the hallway, hand reaching for something. Anything. A lamp. My purse. A knife. Nothing. The figure turned. Slowly. But the moment I hit the light switch, it vanished. Only thing left behind was a still warm cigarette in the ashtray. I didn't smoke. And neither did anyone in my family. They smoke truths, not tobacco. They inhale secrets and exhale cover-ups. I moved fast, shoved the ledger and USB into my bag. I left the condo. Didn't lock the door. What was the point? In the elevator, my reflection in the mirrored panel looked like a stranger. Eyes too alert. Jaw set. A phrase Dad once told me echoed, clearer than ever. When you inherit money, you also inherit enemies. The elevator dinged. Lobby empty. I stepped out, heels striking tile like gunshots. And as I pushed the door open to the cold night air, my phone buzzed once more. Marisol, are you safe? I texted back. Someone was just here, and they left me a message. The cafe was closed. Neon sign off. Windows dark. Only the soft buzz of the street lamp above gave me permission to wait there. Marisol arrived 6 minutes late. She parked 2 spots down from my car and walked without speaking, eyes scanning the street. She wore black. Not dramatic. Tactical. Where's the drive? She asked. I handed her the USB without a word. She pulled her laptop from her bag and booted it up on the hood of her car like it was battlefield intel. The glow lit her face in blue-white lines. First folder, open. Second folder, locked. Third folder, not supposed to exist. What the hell, she murmured. Her fingers moved fast. These transfers, half of these accounts, are flagged. Flagged how? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Just kept scrolling. This one's been frozen by FinCEN since 2017. Another flagged by the EU fraud database. And this, she clicked on a PDF. This one's in your name, Aurelia. Wire transfers from Caymans to Delaware Shell Corp. $1.4 million moved over 3 years. I never touched any of that, I said. That's not the point, she replied. Your name did. Then she found the video. It was a single MP4 file labeled DAR June 27th, 19, exit/failsafe. She clicked. Static. Then Darian's face. Older. Tired. Filmed in what looked like a hotel suite. If you're seeing this, it means I didn't fix it, he said. Marisol paused the video. Looked at me. I nodded. Keep going. I built the trust to shield the family, he continued. But I had to put names on the books, real ones to hold the paper trail. Yours was the cleanest, Aura. No debts. No liabilities. You were pure. My chest tightened. I signed because I thought it was temporary. Thought I'd unwind it. But Elias found out. He's not just moving money. He's laundering something bigger. The screen went black. Static returned. No ending. No goodbye. What do you mean, laundering something bigger? I whispered. Marisol stared at the laptop. A trust that clean? With assets that old. She closed the lid. You weren't inheriting anything. You were being built. As a firewall. I stepped back from the car. Wind kicked up. A siren somewhere downtown. Firewall for what? I asked. She didn't answer, but her phone buzzed. A text. Just one word. Run. What the hell is that? I asked. She turned the screen. The message was from my number. Let's go, she said. We drove to my condo in silence. No music. Just tires, wind, breath. Inside, the lights were still off. We entered slow. No alarms. No creaks. Until the hallway. The mirror. The lipstick mark was gone. In its place, 3 red slashes, like someone had dragged a nail across the glass. Someone was here, I said. We found the ledger, still in the closet, but the lockbox was missing. Only thing left behind was a note. 1 sentence, written in my handwriting. Tell Marisol the ledger isn't enough. She stepped back. That's not possible. You tell me. Then I noticed the USB was still plugged into my laptop, except it was blinking. I pulled up the folder again. A new file had appeared. Video feed. Timestamp live. We clicked. It was my bedroom. Camera angle high. Wide. Fisheye. In the center of the bed, sitting cross-legged in a silk robe, Octavia. She stared directly into the lens. She smiled. Then the feed went black. I stepped away from the screen. No words. No logic. No sanity left. Some people use fire to burn what they fear. Others use it to light the way to the truth. But only the most dangerous kind use it to distract you while they steal everything behind you. She knows, and she's not hiding anymore. I didn't sleep. I watched shadows crawl across the ceiling like whispers that had learned to walk. The condo stayed quiet, but the silence felt loaded, like something was waiting for me to breathe wrong. At 6:01 a.m., I texted Marisol, meet me. Same cafe. Bring gloves. By 6:45, we were in her car, the ledger on her lap, still sealed. She peeled it open like it might bite. This isn't just a ledger, she said, flipping to a page. This is a roadmap. I leaned closer. Pages of transactions. Legal fees. Shell company names. Private jet logs. Here, look. She pointed. This isn't just offshore movement. This is real estate laundering. Explain. Money's funneled through ghost corporations to buy U.S. properties, condos, lots, farmland, then flipped or refinanced to look clean. So I own blood property. Not just own, she said. You signed the refi docs on at least 4 of them. I never saw a single paper. Electronic authorization. Someone used your digital signature. Trace back to a login at AMC Global. I froze. AMC Global. Elias's boutique investment firm. My phone buzzed. A restricted number. I answered. You shouldn't have opened the ledger, a calm male voice said. Now you've made it necessary. Who is this? You'll know when it's too late. Click. I threw the phone into the seat. Marisol didn't blink. You still have that attorney friend? I nodded. Nolan Barrows. Works white-collar crime now. Call him. Now. We drove to his office near the courthouse. Glass building. Top floor. Perfect view of the Capitol Dome. Nolan opened the door himself. Lean, sharp-suited. Eyes like glass cutting steel. I've seen that look before, he said. Usually right before someone enters witness protection. Inside, we laid everything out. USB. Ledger. Burn phone. Video clip of Darian. Marisol's findings. He didn't speak for 5 full minutes. Then, finally, you realize what this is, right? Tell me, I said. This isn't just a family embezzling trust funds. This is a racketeering case waiting to explode. My heart stuttered. They used you to launder money through U.S. properties, legally untouchable unless someone inside flips. You think they'd kill for this? He stared straight through me. They already did. I swallowed. What do we do? You give me permission to file a sealed preliminary disclosure. DOJ will flag it. If it leaks, they'll know someone inside is moving. And if it doesn't, they'll come for the ledger next. And you. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then, total blackout. Emergency backup kicked in. Dim, red-hued lights humming overhead. Stay here, Nolan said. He grabbed his phone and stepped into the hall. Marisol checked the window. Then the hallway. Then her phone. Someone just accessed the condo keypad, she said, while we were here. My pulse spiked. They're looking for it. We shoved the ledger into her bag. Then Nolan burst back in. We need to go. Why? My firm just got a notification. Someone filed a false bar complaint against me under your name, Aura. Says I'm obstructing a federal investigation. They're building the narrative, I whispered, making me the leak. We took the back exit. The garage was empty, too empty. We got into the car fast. Marisol peeled out. As we reached the first red light, a black SUV pulled in behind us. No tags. No plate. Don't stop, I said. I wasn't planning on it. We sped through 2 more lights. SUV stayed close. Nolan cursed under his breath. I have a friend at the DOJ. We need to get this into their hands now. I'll file the motion myself. Tonight. Will they protect her? They won't have a choice. Then a sharp ping on Marisol's phone. She glanced. Face drained. What? She handed me the screen. A photo. Sent to her number. Me. Sitting in the back seat. Taken just now. Caption. Too late. Something cold moved through my spine. Some debts are financial. Some are personal. But the worst kind are the ones you didn't know you owed. Until they come collecting. The storage unit door groaned like metal bones against rust. The keypad blinked red. I punched the code again. Green. Inside, darkness. Except for one bare bulb swinging overhead. It buzzed. Almost like breathing. Marisol trailed behind me. Eyes flicking left, right, always watching. Her bag thumped against her hip. Inside it, the ledger. The evidence. The thing that could bring everyone down or bury us. We stepped in. Rows of identical metal cabinets lined the walls. Silent observers. Aisle after aisle. I shivered. Even though the night was warm, I could still feel those eyes on me. I didn't turn around. Not once. We found the cabinet marked Calder and CO, Final Holdings. The lock clicked. No fuss. Inside, a small wooden box with an engraved seal I didn't recognize. I lifted it. Inside, a tape recorder, 3 envelopes and another USB drive. Marisol picked up the tape. "This is old," she said. Her voice was careful. Too careful. I saw the tiny red light on the recorder. It was on. Breathing. Not blinking. Just waiting. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck rise. A voice whispered in my head. Sometimes the thing you fear most is the thing you must face to be free. I opened envelope 1. Inside, a folded letter dated 10 years ago. My name on it. Signed by Darian. I didn't know my father could write like that. But it wasn't what was in the letter that made my stomach drop. It was who it was addressed to. Elias Ryland. Marisol's eyes darted. "That was your cousin," she murmured. I didn't speak. I opened envelope 2. Photos. Snapshots of properties. Titles. Deeds. All signed with my name. Dates I wasn't alive. The second USB was tucked beneath a wad of old checks. I plugged it into Marisol's laptop. Folder name. Calder Trust Archives, Confidential. Her screen flickered. Then files opened on their own. A document popped up. Title. Offshore Trust Declaration. Aurelia Calder, minor. I stared. I was 7. 7. 7. I blinked. No one told me. I whispered. "It gets worse," Marisol said, eyes glued to the screen. A video file. We clicked. Static first. Then a man. Older, but not old. He looked exhausted, defeated, not like the father I knew. The father who disappeared. Rather than fade, he stepped forward in the frame. His lips barely moved, but his words echoed. "Protect her name at all costs," he said. "It's the only clean trail we have." The screen blinked, then paused, then went dark. Marisol tried to press play. Nothing. It had been recorded to only play once. I didn't move. My breath didn't return, because that meant someone wanted me to see it, and someone knew I would. We heard the lock click behind us. A camera light flashed. Small. Red. Recording. "No," I said. We weren't alone. The stall of cabinets seemed to close in. I could hear my own pulse. Then a voice. Slow. Calm. Too calm. "You shouldn't have opened that." I turned. A figure stepped into the dim light. Tall. Broad shoulders. Hands tucked into a dark hoodie. Face hidden. Marisol gasped. I didn't flinch. Instead, I stepped forward. "You," I said. "It was always you." No answer. Just a slow exhale. Then another voice. Warmer. Familiar. "Look closer, Aura." My chest tightened. Octavia. My mother. She stepped into the light. Her hair tied back. Eyes unreadable. "What is this place?" I asked, voice steady. She didn't answer. She just reached out and picked up the ledger. "Hand it over." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Her voice was the same one that had whispered useless at that dinner table. But now it carried a different weight. A threat. A promise. "You think you know anything," she said, "but you've only seen the surface." I shook my head. "You were on the video." She paused. Not cold anymore. Just tired. "You saw what you were meant to see," she said. "Not what you needed to see." Marisol stepped between us. "Get back," she said. "You're not the only one with dirt on Calder." Octavia's lips twitched. A laugh. Slow. Hard. "We all have dirt," she whispered. "Some of us just wear it better." Then the ground shook. Just a tremor. At first, I thought it was my mind playing tricks. But then the lights flickered. I stumbled. So did Marisol. Octavia didn't move. Then another tremor. Stronger. The bulb above us shattered. Glass rained down. We all froze. The walls groaned. And then, a large cabinet crashed open behind us. Files spilled out, and one folder slid toward me. On the cover, Calder Realty, do not open. I bent down, heart pounding. My breath came fast. I opened it. Inside, a single paper. And a name. Not mine. Not Darian's. Not Octavia's. But mine. Written in bold letters. Authorized signatory, Aurelia Calder. Heat pulsed through my veins. I looked up. Mother. Standing there. Not with regret. Not with fear. But with intent. You always belonged here, she said. Now prove it. The gala was exactly the kind of event I used to avoid. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. A sea of faces that pretended to care. I walked in with a limp, bandaged arm hidden beneath a tailored black blazer. Every eye turned. Whispers trailed me like smoke. Isn't that? Didn't she? I didn't stop. I carried a tablet in my hand, my voice in pixels, my truth on repeat. On the screen, the ledger. Offshore accounts. Wire transfers. Electronic signatures. All trail back to Elias Ryland, AMC Global and the Calder Trust. No edits. No spin. Just facts. Across the room, the orchestra faded to background noise. Security should have stopped me. They didn't. Not at first. I powered up the tablet and tapped play. The screen lit with Darian's old file. His voice spoke before he appeared. You build a fortress, but only truth brings it down. The crowd went quiet, so fast it hurt. I saw Octavia's eyes flick panic. But not fear. Not yet. Elias stepped toward me. Suit crisp. Face colder. He raised his glass like we were toasting an old friend. Aurelia, he said, you have every right to be here tonight, but not with that. He gestured to the tablet. I didn't flinch. You thought my silence was weakness, I said. You were wrong. Someone near the bar murmured, that sounds like, in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. I didn't correct them. Truth is, I'd never wanted to be here. But here I was. Elias's smile thinned. He turned to the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, he boomed. What my cousin is presenting is dangerous and reckless. We should handle this through the proper channels. Proper channels, like filing false complaints, like digital signatures forged in midnight code, like laundering money through properties under federal watch. I moved closer, or we could start with the truth. I hit play. Not Darian's message. The new file, recorded earlier that afternoon. Octavia's voice. Clear. Unmistakable. I authorized the transfers, she said. Everything goes through me first. Gasps filled the room like static. Octavia didn't flinch. She stood tall. Aurelia, she said, voice steady. You think you're the only one who's been played? You're not your father's martyr. You're his plan. I blinked. A slow exhale. A truth I wasn't ready for. Darian isn't dead, she said. He walked out when he knew someone would leak everything. I protected you by keeping you in the dark. The room rippled with murmurs. The chandelier lights seemed to tilt. Someone's camera phone lit up. Slow motion. Reveal. Cut to reactions. I felt the blood drain. Then Darian entered. Not ghostly. Not frail. Alive. Walking with a cane. Strong eyes. He didn't look at me. He looked at the screen. And spoke. I did it for legacy, he said. Not for deceit. He paused. This was the real twist. Not betrayal. Not greed. It was fear. Fear of losing everything. For decades, he continued, our name was untouched. Untouchable. If I didn't build this structure, corporate, financial, symbolic, we all would crash. People shifted, sipped champagne nervously. Darian's shoulders relaxed, as if he expected judgment. But then, a woman in a red dress pointed at the tablet. "Those aren't protections," she said. "Those are crimes." Her voice sparked something. A domino effect. Phones raised. Recordings streamed. Within seconds, viral chatter began. "If Calder stole trust funds, isn't that federal?" SEC, DOJ, someone call them. Security staff fanned out, eyes sharp. I saw a deputy badge flash in the crowd. A slow draw, like gravity pulling what's hidden into the light. A tall man with a DOJ lapel stepped forward. He spoke calm, deliberate. "Ms. Calder, Aurelia, your preliminary disclosure was received hours ago. We've been monitoring for anomalies." My heart hammered. And then, arrest warrants. Subpoenas. Elias's eyes widened. Octavia's jaw dropped. Darian simply closed his eyes. The DOJ official read names. Elias Ryland, obstruction, money laundering. Octavia Calder, authorization of fraudulent transfers. Darian Calder, racketeering, concealment of assets. The room fell into a heavy, cinematic hush. People backed away. Champagne lost its sparkle. My hands trembled. I felt the weight of every whisper I'd heard all these years. "You're nothing. You won't amount to anything. You're useless." Tonight, every dismissive word felt like evidence. I spoke quietly. "Pain doesn't make you weak." I felt each syllable in my bones. "Pain makes you relentless." The DOJ agents led them away one by one. The aftermath was chaotic. Phones, microphones, flashes, reporters. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel watched. I felt free. A phrase I once heard in passing came to mind. "Freedom is never given, it is taken." I inhaled the night air. Sharp, cool, unfiltered. My name had been weaponized, used, exploited. But tonight, the truth took it back. As the crowd thinned, I stepped outside. The streetlights flickered like cautious applause. My phone buzzed. Marisol's name on the screen. "It's done. You're clear." I exhaled slow. Not relief. Truth. I walked toward the valet. The wind caught my hair. And for the first time, I wasn't looking over my shoulder. I was walking forward unchained. I realized then what legacy really meant. Not wealth, not secrets, not power, but courage. To stand when everyone else watches. To speak when silence is easier. And to choose your own name, not because it appeared on paper, but because you fought to own it. I didn't need vengeance. I needed justice. And tonight I found both. She called me useless. I became unstoppable.